friendly neighborhood soup lady here, Caroline Wright. Today I'm going to teach you a totally made up soup of mine that I call Spring Veggie Miso. I like to say is if it's like, you know, the freebie soup that you get at Japanese restaurants, went to therapy and grew some self-worth and confidence. And because at the time of writing this, I didn't really eat soy, it really focuses on chickpea miso, and like making a really delicious pesto. It comes together pretty simply, just like lots of fun ingredients. This is, the pesto is made out of Thai basil because delicious. It starts off with a base of a couple leeks, and we do something fun with a whole head of garlic and to get that started. And it uses a lot of asparagus, a whole kohlrabi without the greens, but that's what they look like, these fun little Sputnik things. Some lime juice at the end, ginger and a daikon radish, and some snow peas and some soaked chickpeas. Now, I used kala chana, black chickpeas, not because I'm fancy or wanted to change the recipe. It just happened to be what I had, so that's what I used. But traditional chickpeas work fine too. The beginning of this recipe is actually making some confit garlic cloves. All it is just all of the cloves of garlic from the one head of garlic put into a skillet or whatever small pan you have, so that the oil that we use, olive oil, can cover it, and then you just simmer it gently, like very gently, for 30 minutes. And they, you know, just soften. They don't really take on color, as you can see, but they are nice and tender. And they also become really, really mild. They flavor the oil, the cloves become mild and soft. And then the cloves are what goes into our pesto made with the white miso and the Thai basil. And that becomes like a nice little thing that we add at the end. And the oil is what we work with that's infused with the garlic that we use for the whole soup. So that's a really fun first step. All right, so I'm gonna add that infused garlic oil. That's what we're cooking with, to our nice hot Dutch oven. And here I have those 2 leeks, just the white and like light green parts. I've sliced them into quarters lengthwise, made sure that they weren't dirty by, like, you know, turning back their the first few layers and rinsing them if you need to. You don't want any grit in the soup. And so I'm gonna add all of this to the pot with the ginger. It was like a 1-inch piece that I peeled and chopped up. Give it a nice little sprinkle of salt. So we're looking to wilt these and make them nice and tender before we move on to our next step. But meanwhile, while this is happening, I blend up the garlic cloves, those like confit garlic cloves that we just made. And with some white miso paste, I happen to use chickpea miso just to keep on the theme of the chickpea miso soup. And all of those Thai basil leaves. It's like about a packed cup, so it's a lot. But you just kind of like pulse it in the blender, and it becomes this like pesto-ish delicious mix of things that comes in at the end of the soup. All right, so it's looking good. We've got some nice and wilted, bright green leek, delicious. And now we have, this is our kohlrabi that's been peeled and cut into 1-inch pieces. If you don't remember how to break down a kohlrabi, watch my video for my Buddha bowl soup. I show it off in that recipe. So we're gonna add it here. And this is that daikon radish that's been peeled and then cut into like 1 to 2-inch pieces. And here we have our soaked chickpeas. And these things, we're just gonna add the water now. Season with some salt, obviously. Give it a good stir just to make sure everything's incorporated. And then we'll cover. And then once This has come to a boil. I reduce it to a simmer just until those chickpeas are nice and tender. All the other veggies will be tender then too. And then that's our next step. Then we get to finish it with our like pesto and add the rest of the veggies. All right, so it's been about 45 minutes. These chickpeas are nice and tender. All of the veggies are nice and tender. So I've raised the heat so I can bring it back up to a quick simmer. And I'm gonna add all the rest of the vegetables. These are those snow peas that have been cut in half, and our asparagus, which has been cut into like 2-inch pieces. And I'm gonna go ahead and just stir all this stuff in, and we just simmer this for about 5 minutes. All right, so these have been simmering for a few minutes. Everything's nice and crunchy and bright green. That's exactly what we're looking for. And I added a little bit of water because mine had really like reduced down too much while I had done that simmer to make the chickpeas tender. So I just added a little bit more water. That's one of the benefits of using water instead of stock in soups. So yeah, there we are. Now it is nice and delicious, and we can add our pesto. Here we go. That mild garlic and the beautiful miso, it makes it lovely and creamy. Like I said, just like that freebie soup in Japanese restaurants, except with like chunky, delicious veggies inside. So tasty. I'm very excited to give this a try. And then also, to finish off the soup, I add a little bit of lime juice just to keep it interesting. See if it needs anything. I love that so, so much. The basil, so fresh. The lime juice, so fresh. Crunchy veggies, chickpeas, which are like nice and creamy. It's a nice balance for this time of year, the spring. Very hot, but very tasty. You can find this recipe for my spring veggie miso soup. It's on page 192 of my seconds cookbook. It's my second soup book, but you can find it at booklarder.com. And you can follow me here on YouTube and on Instagram at Slurp Soup Club for like fun soup content every week. And I really appreciate you being here, seriously. I get to show off my favorite soups and share them with you every week. That's just like so much fun for me. So thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you next week.